right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kern Singh, your board-certified orthopedic spine surgeon, joined by my co-host, Alex Roca, as we delve into another episode on spinal strength. Alex, how are you?
I'm thrilled to be here.
First of all, it's game week. You know that? It's game week.
I couldn't tell by what you're wearing.
What is the biggest game? What is college football's biggest game this week? Come on, you don't watch college football, man?
I do, but
you didn't
Ohio
play
State?
No, dude.
I don't know.
It's the whiteout. It's the feature game. It's Penn State,
No bias.
Oregon. No, it's not a bias. It's actually the feature game. It's college. It's where game day is this week.
Oh, cool. All right.
Penn State's favored 3.5, but they have to win. They got to break the narrative that James Franklin can't win the big games. To the James Franklin haters out there, I am not one, but he's lost big games. But he actually has won all the big games where he is favored. So it's that he's rebuilt the team, but he's always been a dog in the race. So let's see. He's actually favored this week. 3.5 points, which is the whiteout factor. Like Urban Meyer said, hardest place to play in college football. You got to go there one time with me. I was supposed to go, but maybe next year.
Yeah, it looks like a really cool. I know you've obviously you've been, and you've sent me some pictures, and it looks amazing.
I will say I've been to almost every sporting event, Final Four, playoffs, Super Bowl, World Cup, Cricket World Cup, F1. I will say the loudest atmosphere I've ever been to is Penn State whiteout. One of the craziest environments I've ever been to, which I love, is the U.S. Open men's tennis at night in New York. It's crazy. And then the other one, which was insane, is cricket. India, Pakistan, World Cup in London. They had a military divide. I mean, when you think about it, it's the most watched sporting event. Not World Cup, not the NFL, but 2 billion people tune in to watch that. Is that insane? And there's a military divide. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, focusing on our topic today, which I'm always going to watch everybody, I should say, watch Alex type away to get some insight on this, okay? We're putting the spotlight on him. We're going to talk about something that's been requested by 5 or 6 people. Put your hands up, Alex.
All right, I'm not one.
Peptides.
Oh, I know some stuff about peptides.
You do? Oh,
I
man.
do.
So
I'm excited.
Is it snake oil?
No.
Or so adamant. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to disagree with that statement, but we'll go into it. Is it snake oil or the secret sauce? Okay?
It's the secret sauce, man.
You go to a gym and everyone's talking about peptides. It's the protein. Everyone's all about it, right? Yeah, I do this, and now the new I'm doing BPC. I'm doing CJC.
I have a personal story about BPC 157 that we can talk about.
Might as well, because you have added nothing to the last 5 episodes. So why don't you start off with something to add here?
Okay.
Go for it.
Dislocated my shoulder last November. Had my labrum fixed, and
hey, bring your microphone up a little bit for the audience.
I had my labrum fixed.
Yeah.
Okay. And
labrum, not labia.
I'm gonna have to cut that out now.
Okay.
I did 60 days daily injections of BPC 157 into my surgically repaired shoulder after surgery. I used it every day.
Yeah, but how do you know that worked?
I wouldn't say it worked by speeding up my rehab.
Once again,
by
the bro science is. Let me give you an example. Okay, this is where anecdotal evidence versus scientific rigor meets the road. Okay.
Well, there is science behind.
It's soft.
What,
let me hold on. The audience didn't tune in for your scientific evaluation here. They tuned in for your good looks, but not for the science. Okay. So let me pause you. I'm going to give you an example as it relates truly to my heart. Lumbar disc herniation. People get a disc herniation, they get leg pain, sciatica. Now, people swear by chiropractics, people swear by therapy, people swear by medications, people swear by surgery, people swear by injections. But what if I told you in the first 6 weeks of a disc herniation, what percentage of disc herniation, when you get a disc herniation, you're symptomatic, you throw out your back, leg pain, what percentage gets better on its own?
What percentage of a
lumbar disc herniations, symptomatic disc herniations get better on their own?
20%.
90%. So now there's people say, they come into my office all the time, I did chiropractic and I did, PRP injection. Okay, well, in your first 6 weeks, there was a 90% chance if you just sat on your couch and ate Cheetos, it would get better. Does that make sense?
So I don't disagree with you, but what I will say is here's my comparison. If I didn't have my labrum surgically fixed, there's no amount of peptide injections of BPC 157 was going to heal my labrum, right? But where I think it helped is it helped induce increased blood flow and some other healing factors, much like we would say a PRP injection would. That's it.
You should have added some leeches and some chicken bones to your mix also, because if we want to talk about voodoo, well, that's a whole separate episode. But the science is extremely soft. And let me guess, you paid out of pocket for it. You pay any extra?
Blue Cross is not going to.
That's my point. So I'm going to go back to the science. It's very soft. And we can talk about levels of evidence, level 1 evidence being the most rigorous, randomized, double-blinded trials, level 5 being anecdote. It's very soft. So speaking of very soft evidence, let's go to peptides. What are peptides? Do you know? Stop reading. Stop reading Wikipedia.
I'm not reading anything. I'm just going to say no.
All right.
I don't know.
You know what, guys?
What I will say is that
no, stop.
They're synthetic. They're synthetically made signals that signal the body to.
You're already off. Okay. Stop. Okay, stop.
All right.
You don't know what a peptide is, but you're swearing by BPC. Okay, that's the beauty of America these days, right? Don't really know the science, like acetaminophen and autism, which is a joke, by the way, complete and 100% joke. But that, unfortunately, it's like, what's that? You ever see that Facebook meme?
No.
And it was, okay, guys, I'm going to get my scientific information from the guy next to me that basically failed out of high school, formed some cryptocurrency trading algorithm, is a millionaire and has a weblog. Or you could take it from the guy that finished first, or lady that finished first in science, went to medical school, got a medical degree or whatever it may be, and has the basis. No, I get it. Now you have a bully pulpit, and that's actually the purpose of this show, right? Is to dispel all the false information. So, do we know if peptides are efficacious? No, we don't know. We really don't know. But we do know they're expensive. We don't know necessarily the outcomes, and we don't know the ramifications because they fall into that big labeling, the nutraceutical, where it's not regulated by the FDA. So they make all these claims. So let's break it down for the audience. Let's start going scientifically through this, and then everyone else, like in America, you make your own decision, unfortunately, for better or for worse. So when you don't vaccinate your child and measles, mumps, rubella, and you don't give Tylenol because your wife is 104 degrees and could have brain damage, but you worry about the autism, okay, I'm going to call out that's just stupidity. But here in this episode, we're going to talk about science. So peptides, amino acids, and proteins are all basically the same thing. So think of a amino acid. We talked about that. Amino acid is your Lego block. Okay? One Lego block. Remember we talked about the essential amino acids and other amino acids, leucine, lysine, glycine, etc. Essential meaning you have to consume it. Your body cannot produce it, and there's the qualities of meat and protein, or not meat, but protein that you consume has to have all the essential amino acids for you to make muscle. Beef has that. Plant proteins do not, but you have to mix them, but you can get all of them. So those are the amino acids. Those are the Lego blocks. You put a couple Lego blocks together, you snap them together, and you get what? A peptide. Mm-hmm. So there are short-chain amino acids. There are different peptides that we see in the body, which have clinical science behind them. What is the most famous and studied peptide of all time? Stop reading, man. We don't need you to go on.
I'm not reading anything.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Okay. Look like you're about to have a bowel movement.
I don't know.
If you really have a bowel movement or just straining.
Deep in thought. I don't know the answer.
See, that's the thing. People are like, peptide this, peptide that. It's the new rage. No, we actually
I'm sure I know. I just don't know.
No, that's my point, though. People are like, oh, my God, peptides and, it's just the newest thing. Well, no. The most famous peptide of all time is insulin.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Okay? Recombinantly made. So we manufacture insulin and we use it. It's a peptide. It's amino acids put together that cause a signal. The signal, we talked about that, is anabolic production. So it helps regulate blood sugar, helps metabolism. What's the hottest peptide right now? And we're going to do a whole episode on that.
It could be BPC 157 or TB 500.
GLP-1.
Oh, Ozempic, all those.
Ozempic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's another peptide. And now what we're seeing in these uses of Ozempic, which, it works amazingly well. And it works for its purpose of people who are type 2 diabetic, overweight, and can't get control. Absolutely. But where we're seeing something called sarcopenia in healthy individuals who are just using it for aesthetic purposes. You get bone metabolism or bone leaching, potentially destruction or affecting internal organs and viscera. So you just can't use these things willy-nilly. So now you have amino acids, which are the Lego block. Peptides, when you put a couple Lego blocks together, and that's like insulin, GLP-1, collagen, that's another peptide. And then when you put them all together and you make the Death Star out of these Lego pieces, that's just protein. Protein, like beef, would contain all of those amino acids and chains, which are peptide chains. Does that make sense? So peptides are not some magical thing. They're a sequence of amino acids. All right? But America is consumed with a quick fix. Can you imagine? I'd be a billionaire right now if I came up with a peptide called Dad Bod 69. Okay? And what it does is it gives you 6-pack abs while still allowing 12 beers a night. Right? That's what people want. I mean, they don't want to go to the gym. They don't want to go to, fix the diet. You know what they're going to do? They're going to do a juice cleanse, go to GNC, drop $430 on BPC, TB500, whatever. They're going to do all that stuff. But you know what? That doesn't work in isolation. So, right now the consumption of peptides is driven by marketing. You have a bunch of marketing and influencers and chemical websites and compounding pharmacies that are doing all of this, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not regulated. It's what multivitamins were 30, 40, 50 years ago. You're probably too young to remember Centrum. Remember Centrum?
Oh, no, I remember that. I remember the bottle.
That's right. It was a very expensive multivitamin, one of the first to put everything together, like every vitamin known to man put together. And then you realize you talked about this, you don't absorb it, right? You drink it, you pee it out, and there you go, and that's $4 a pill. So there is a role for peptides. There are a role for peptides. They're being used in anti-oncological or cancer peptides, antimicrobial for infections, potentially for some regenerative stuff, but we don't know just yet. So let's talk about specifically the peptides. You mentioned one. You mentioned, what did you mention? BPC?
Yeah, BPC.
Okay, so BPC 157. What's its predominant effect in?
I'm forgetting the actual technical term for this, but it increases blood flow.
Yeah,
it
so
creates. It doesn't necessarily increase blood flow. It's not like a vasodilator. It helps create the formation of new blood like vessel ancillaries, which can help increase blood flow to an afflicted area. Again, all in theory, an afflicted area, which then helps with the healing process because you're bringing in more.
How much did you pay for your BPC injections?
It was a few $100s.
Okay.
Yeah. And I will say, I mean, again, we don't know all the...
I've got some oceanfront land in Arizona I want to sell you. I mean,
Sign me up.
yeah, sign you up, man. Get
Sign me
you.
up, man.
Okay,
Will
so
it make me look
BPC
better?
is classically used in recovery, but it's actually used for gut healing. Okay, that's where it's classically
Yep.
utilized. But whatever, you're
Yep.
doing local injections to people. It's like, what was the rage 10 years ago now? It's stem cells. Embryonic, amniotic, stem cells are legitimate. I mean, stem cells, but they're wide-scale application. See, what people don't realize is at the end of the day, your body is freaking amazing, right? A little bit of micro modification here, a little bit of salt consumption, a little bit of water retention, a little bit of diuretic. All those things change. Your body is what we call homeostatic. It creates the perfect balance. So there's no one site, one medicine, one pill cure-all that's going to resolve anything. And in fact, what we've learned is that large variations or variations in consumptions of things, extreme diets, extreme medication, it causes a ripple down effect, which is why people take the, now it's really trendy to say, I don't take medications prescribed to me. I don't take this prescribed because of side effects. Yeah, I get it. But you know what? Someone that's a type 2 diabetic does need metformin. Someone that is a hypertensive patient needs an antihypertension. Look at me. I'll give myself as example. I'm in good shape. I eat healthy. I almost no consumption of meat, low animal meat, high vegetable consumption, broccoli, blueberry, antioxidant, clean diet, maybe cheat once a week, and that means one meal a week, and yet my cholesterol is out the roof. Out the roof. Yeah. And my HDL is out the roof, right? But that's because there's a genetic receptor insensitivity. It's commonly seen in Indian males, right? So, we have very high good looks and very high cholesterol. That's kind of the genetic curse that we have.
Yeah, sorry.
What's that?
Yeah, no, nothing. No. You're right. You're right.
Make sure I don't cancel you for the next podcast. Thank you for saying you're
No,
right. So I have to take that medication. Yes, there's a side effect to it. There's cramping. I get muscle cramping at night and everything else. But you know what? If I don't take it, my cholesterol, no matter what I do, how much I exercise, my cholesterol. So I'm not recommending willy-nilly to take medications that are prescribed. What I'm saying is they have select purposes. Now, what people do, and we see this, and we talked about in episode 1 or 2, a good friend of mine that was taking all these supplements and ended up with liver failure. Remember that? 40-year-old male.
Yeah.
40-year-old male in the hospital, almost needed a liver transplant, was in the hospital, University of Michigan, for 4 weeks. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
So
It's taking a lot of different stuff, right?
no, just taking
like vitamins.
Just taking 2 things, but we'll go into that in a little bit. Okay, so now you talked about BPC. What else? What about collagen peptides? What are collagen kind of typically used for?
Collagen is, actually something that we hear a lot of in your world, the orthopedic world, because it's supposedly the building blocks of your joints and tissues, and commonly prescribed. Like, people will have collagen peptide powder and they'll mix it with their protein. People will put collagen in their coffee, those powders. The whole Vital Proteins essentially built their brand off of collagen peptides.
That's right. So skin and joints,
powder.
those are the 2 things for
Skin
collagen.
and joints.
Now,
Skin, joints, and hair.
There's we can go into
Yeah.
biotin and different things, but there's some low-level evidence. I would say level 3. Don't quote me on that, but which is kind of mid-level evidence to suggest it's good for your skin and cartilage and joints without having a negative side effect from its consumption. So that's the key thing. Taking something is for the benefit is one thing, but taking something and making sure it doesn't have a side effect, a negative one, that's probably just as important, if not more. So you mentioned TB500. TB500, also known as what? Do you know?
I don't know. I didn't take this one. I just know it was part of like this stack. I never got into it past 157, so I don't know.
Yeah, people call it as the Wolverine factor, right? The tissue
The
regeneration.
Wolverine stack. It's the 157 plus the TB500. You stack those together. It's called the Wolverine stack. Very common in like the MMA world, jiu-jitsu. People swear by it.
Yeah, I mean,
I
yeah.
didn't do the stack.
I mean, I swear by. You're too young, but do you ever watch the original Karate Kid?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, dude, you gotta watch. For all the old people, because all the old people are listening, because it's my mom's community center, and then a couple of just Indian dudes who got nothing else better to do for our followers. Do you remember Mr. Miyagi? You don't even know. Mr. Miyagi comes in, slaps his
I know.
hands together, and starts heating them up. Right? I mean, if it works on TV, it's got to work, man. It's got to work on the MMA people, right? So
Yeah.
then there's other ones. Have you heard of CJC?
CJC 1295.
Yes,
That
that's really
signals the release
popular.
of yeah, it signals the release of growth hormone.
That's right. That's right. Now here's the problem. Peptides are all the rage because you got guys like Joe Rogan, celebrity endorsers, TikTok influencers, because you can compound it and push your own line. Does that make sense? It's not controlled
Correct.
by the FDA.
And if you're not pushing your own line, you're getting paid to just talk about this stuff.
That's
and then
right.
Promote someone else's line. I mean, I know people on Instagram, for instance. I don't know them personally. I just know of them, their
Yeah,
personalities.
you stalk them.
Dri-
You creepily stalk
Yeah.
them, right?
They're driving Aston Martins, all because they have a following and they link to a site that sells all sorts of different things, but mainly peptides. And the brands just pay these people because they have a
Well,
following.
listen, that's
and
the bottom
peptides
line
aren't-
for our podcast. By the way, Spinal Strength Peptides are coming out. Please, so we have 38 followers. So at $3 a peptide, that'll be a little under $120 there. So there we go. You won't get your Aston Martin, but you could get a ticket to the Chicago Auto Show to go see an Aston Martin. Okay, right? Listen, if you're buying peptides from a guy named Big Tone on Instagram, odds are you're about to either get jacked
It's powdered sugar.
or poisoned. Okay? It's one of the two. You're going to get really, really jacked or really, really jacked up. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's the truth there. So now, why, if they're all the same thing, because I don't think do you remember about 2 or 3 years ago, it was all the rage to consume elemental amino acids. Do you remember that?
That I'm not. I
Yeah,
don't
people
remember.
are consuming. So if we're saying these are all part of the same spectrum, amino acids, the Lego, the blocks put together, peptides, and then protein being the whole model that's being made, why does it matter what you consume? Do you know what the theory behind that is?
No, other than taking stuff just creates individual types of signals instead of.
That's right. So that's one part. So one belief is if I consume them in an elemental form, in a single amino acid, that I don't have to go through, the body doesn't have to go through this digestion and break it down. Okay? That's the argument for taking elementals. But, kind of like vitamins, we've learned, taking vitamin A, D, E, K, whatever it may be, you don't get that same absorption as you do with eating whole foods. Right?
I stopped. I used to take.
Stop
I
eating
used
whole
to
foods?
have a. No, I stopped buying my groceries at Whole Foods. No, but I stopped taking. I used to have like a pill thing, and every day I'd have what I would take, and it was like 10 things. Nothing like just vitamin B12, like all these different.
So
things.
let me tell you about pills. I have
Hundreds of dollars.
So I went with my buddies to Vegas. I don't have many friends, but just like 2 friends or 3 friends went to Vegas, and this is a different Vegas story than the one we told about you getting lost and whatever. And I went with a bunch of pills. And Vegas, everyone thinks, oh my God. But you know what my pills consisted of? They were magnesium for sleep, famotidine for upset stomach, indigestion, ibuprofen, obvious reasons,
Yeah.
Tums,
Oh,
indigestion,
staple.
and Gas X, so I don't crop dust, okay? I got a whole bag of it. Everyone else is boozing, I'm just popping my little pills. So one of my buddies, who likes to always throw down and get the bottles and whatever, gets a cabana at one of the clubs. He gets the cabana, and I go in this Encore Beach Club. I go in to get in, and they stop me. And they're like, sir, you can't enter with these pills. And I'm walking in with Lactate. I go, I need these. I really need these bad. Like, I can't eat anything. You know, it can be a problem for everybody else. And the bouncer stops me. So I pull over the side, and I just start chewing all my Lactate at once just to get something. I come back in line, and my face is just basically covered in powder. Bouncer's like, sir, you're doing drugs. You can't come in. I had to call my buddy to get me in because it looked like I was doing drugs on the side. It was Lactate. So going back to your pill thing, I bet you, and I challenge you, Alex, you stop dumping all of this excess whatever, you won't see a change in your performance. Outside of creatine and caffeine. And those are marginal improvements, right? Because you're at the upper end of exercise and peak performance. So the belief is elemental amino acids easier. Now, what about the benefits of peptides? Why peptides?
They selectively signal your body to do certain functions.
That's right. So the belief is that the sequence together of certain amino acids is additive because it signals the body to perform either let's just say, tissue repair, muscle growth, and that's why you take insulin, and insulin then reduces your blood sugar. That's the belief that the certain pattern of the amino acids linked together can induce a process which would not necessarily occur with just protein consumption or with elemental amino acids. So it's kind of like the amino acid is snorting, you mentioned sugar, instant hit. Peptides, sipping on coffee, steady, kind of, incremental growth. And the protein shake is like the whole pancake. You get there, you may not, maybe too much, maybe not enough. All those things kind of factor in. At the end of the day, none of these, elemental amino acids, peptides, protein supplements, substitute for a good whole balanced diet. So think about this. When we started, remember we did the HIIT training way back when, this is pre-COVID, like a year or two before COVID. We were doing all those ClassPass and everything else. And by the way, I met the founder of ClassPass. One of my friends was dating her. He dumped her because she was going nowhere, and now she's worth like $1 billion, Loser. When we were doing it, think about this. We were consuming what? Do you remember?
Remember like drinking those protein shakes?
That's right. Cinnamon Swole and the protein bars and the protein jellies and whatever it would, remember? Like all of that.
Anything.
Anything. Yeah. C4, we're lighting it up with the C4 on top of it. Now think about it. When did you start getting more jacked?
I started eating Whole Foods.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, you're getting more. You were always strong, right? You had the frame. You played sports before. You're always athletic. Treadmill when the crop duster was next to us. We talked about that. But not until you changed your diet, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with me.
Yeah.
I couldn't get lean. I couldn't get in shape until I changed. It wasn't the creatine. It wasn't the caffeine. It wasn't the vitamin. It wasn't the supplement. Now, what is your diet? Your diet is whole food, clean food, non-processed food. And if you can't get to the food in time, you'll take a little bit of a supplement. It may be a whey protein. It may be a powder. Maybe. Now you're trying to get that extra 1%, that extra 2%. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you see people that are at the gym drinking a smoothie, 700 calories smoothie, taking 4 peptide pills for, BP, this, whatever it may be, and none of that has an effect. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it's funny because a lot of this stuff is labeled as a supplement, but if you're not eating whole foods, you're not supplementing anything. It's becoming your whole food.
That's
like
right.
what you think is you're living off of it. They're
That's
not
right.
People don't treat them as supplements. They live off of.
Now
these
think
things
about
only.
it. You mentioned something, because your workout is such an elite level, you're lifting at high, heavy compound lifting, cardio, whatever. You now, in order to maintain that workout level, you consume gummy bears or Sour Patch Kids or whatever it may be for that sugar, right?
Yeah.
So and that's my point. So for someone like you, maybe the peptide will have some benefit. For the average Joe, I'd tell you stay away. It makes no sense. You would see more
yeah.
bang for your buck. You would see more aesthetic improvement in your body by just eating whole foods. It's really hard to overconsume whole foods. Think about it.
Yeah, you'll get sick.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a
Like,
lot of food you to consume. Now, the only way...
Try to eat carrots until
Yeah.
like you're never gonna eat
There's
too many
probably
carrots.
only 2 whole foods that you could overconsume and it be deleterious to your aesthetic or your body looks. And I would say fruits, because they have high amounts of sugar. So you see people, bananas are ridiculous amount. That's why they taste one of my favorite fruits. Mangoes, Now they have nutritional value, some of the vitamins, but they're other alternative fruits that you can consume with lower caloric surpluses. And the other one, nuts.
Oh,
right?
eat nuts so easily.
Yeah, you can see
No
that.
one's measuring out the little tiny palmful of nuts. They're eating 9 times the serving size of nuts, 1,000
Yes,
calories worth of
that's
nuts.
right. And you are, you're one of those guys. Years ago, you were, granola lover and just eating granola. Granola is another thing, man. Just calorie on calorie.
Oh.
Walking around with your Jesus sandals and your white socks, just just you and your bros up in Lincoln Park or Lakeview, by the Cubby Bear, just just hanging out, right? No diversity noted there. Just hanging out with your bros, talking about life and how college was great and whatever it was. Okay, I know how it goes. All right, so let's summarize this for the audience. It's really simple. Amino acids, peptides, and protein are all the same thing on a continuum or spectrum. Amino acids are the most basic building block of proteins. Glycine, leucine, all these things we talked about. Some of them are essential that you have to consume, you can't just make. When you link them together, that means you take 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, you put them together, they form a chain. That's known as a peptide chain. We use peptides scientifically. We use insulin, huge peptide. GLP-1s, Ozempic, we use it. It works really well. There is science behind it. When you put a bunch of these chains together and it forms a protein, that is the ultimate kind of convergence of the amino acids together. As far as the science for peptides and tissue growth and muscle growth and this, it is still marketing hype over science. You want to be cautious in what you consume because a lot of these have contaminations because they're compounded in Big Tone's garage or whatever, so you can have side effects. You got to be careful. Now, if we're talking about high-level athletes who've already optimized their workout, who've optimized their diet, yeah, you could make a case that this could maybe be that 0.5% or 1% gain. But in general, I would tell the audience, just eat whole foods. Just eat high-quality protein, and you would do amazingly well. You would change your strength profile. You would change your aesthetic for your body, all those things that you learned over the course of the last couple of years, right? Now, when you go, and I see you, when you go, you're drinking your water a lot during the day to keep your stomach full. You're eating very carefully, very planned meals. You're not just randomly snacking like we used to do. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Big time.
for the audience out there, please do not make the same mistake Alex did with his $400 sham injection into his shoulder. I mean, the protein into the shoulder joint, whatever. And I'm sure one of my partners charged you for it, right? So that means I get, 1/40th of it back. So I get $10 off of you. They'll probably slam me for that. And that is a strong opinion, but the science is soft. Did it hurt you? No. Did it mentally make you feel better? Remember, there's no substitute for placebo and mentally feeling better. With that being said, I want to thank the audience who's been giving us a bunch of suggestions. So I've got a couple more topics coming up in the next week or two that are hot topics, and we'll delve into that, hopefully break down the science and keep everyone engaged. Until next time, it's Dr. Kern Singh and Alex Roca. We're out.